That's one of the best podcasts ever. Ever. Top 5 dead or alive. Welcome to Pod Caviar. I am your host, Tony, in the Ministry of Silly Talks with Graham in the building.
Hi.
This is one of those special occasions where we record early.
Yeah.
Not on Sunday.
A lot of shit going on.
This is Friday.
Yeah.
We just did a great episode of the One Graham Army podcast. And listen, I'm going to tell you to subscribe, but I'm also going to tell you to listen to the first 15 minutes of the last episode of Pod Caviar.
Or the first, 13 minutes of my last podcast.
Right.
We fucking have told these people.
We've told you so many fucking times. You just got to subscribe, man. Yeah. I mean, come on. You got 2 podcasts here where there's guys. We do good shows. We do quality content.
Yeah.
And we threaten the people
who are already listening.
Submission, yeah.
As if they're not listening.
Right.
It's so much fun.
So if you already subscribed, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Tell as many people as possible because we're coming.
Yeah.
And then we don't want to do this, but we have to do this.
I mean, what happens if we run out of people who haven't subscribed?
Right.
Maybe we don't feel like you're applying yourself as a subscriber.
No, yeah. Then we need to
get more people to subscribe.
Turn the heat up a little bit. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. Let's not.
No,
but I'm just saying.
Hypothetical. We're not telling you it's going to happen. We're not telling you it's not going to happen.
If you extrapolate a bit,
yeah,
perhaps that's the next level of this thing.
Yeah, maybe you take the extra step.
We don't have to worry if everybody subscribes.
No,
that's what we're saying.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, if the numbers match up, numbers don't lie.
Yep.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
No
but
problem.
If they don't match up,
there's
something to worry about.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we're not going to enjoy our work.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
We have a goal, and we're going to complete that goal. Period.
Prepare for horror. Prepare for horror. Prepare for horror.
Exactly.
That's it. That's the last thing you hear before we show up and kick in your door.
The only song that plays in the van.
That's it. Yeah, that's all we need. We only need that one song to play in the van.
It's on a loop.
That's it.
It's on a loop.
Yeah.
And think about what sort of people you're dealing with. If we drive to, I don't know, let's say Becky Smith's house in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Maybe you live in Milwaukee somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're going to listen to that the whole way on that trip.
The whole way.
Yep.
There's no escaping this.
And part of the problem, too, with us, really, though, is because we're such consummate professionals, because we don't fuck around, when we come to see people, we come to see you individually. So you don't even really have to worry that you're in some kind of large sweep. We're going to listen to this.
One by one.
Prepare for horror. Prepare for horror. Prepare for horror.
For the 13-hour drive or whatever it is to where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're coming to just see you.
I don't know what else to tell these folks.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can warn them as much as possible and then describe it in many ways, but
yep. These aren't empty threats, folks.
they're not.
As I mentioned,
we're coming for you.
We have a van.
Yep. And then we're coming for you. Hey, today we're going to take a break from the season 4. We did Lizard People, we did DB Cooper.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sir. I did want to mention too, though, that before we got off on the silly shit, I will say that of late our podcasts have like the difference between the two has become much more stark, because it was like there was sort of a weird feeling it out period where kind of like our podcasts seemed similar, like kind of like was like a run of one podcast.
Right,
But I really
right.
like where we're at now too, though.
Yeah.
Where, you know, Pod Caviar kind of has its own vibe, and One Gram Army has its own vibe. You know, like Pod Caviar, it's usually like a little more structured.
Yeah.
Or at least
Yeah.
it starts that way.
Right.
And then 1 Gram Army, we just got to get these dick jokes off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm enjoying the shit out of this.
Oh yeah. It's amazing, and like we said before, you have 2 different podcasts, 2 different episodes, 2 different shows
Every week.
every week for
Every
free. You
week.
just have to press a button that says subscribe, and you just haven't done it. So now we have to subscribe to seeing you.
Yep.
You don't subscribe to us, so we're subscribing to you.
I'm subscribing to where your wife works.
Yeah, like all of this shit is public knowledge. We're coming to see all of you. We will come see your whole bloodline.
Yeah.
This is the level that we're at.
You hadn't seen this map we got in here.
Yeah,
It's-
come
it's
on.
a lot. I mean,
Honestly,
we've spent more on thumbtacks, I think, than we did on podcasting equipment.
Right.
Because there's
right.
so many of you
Yeah.
that we need to come see.
Yeah, and then for you, and to put that in perspective, what is it? Pablo Escobar had spent more money on rubber bands when he was doing his thing than the money itself. You know,
Right. Yeah.
that's how it is. Like, we've mapped everything. We see people. We have the technology. We have the means, the motive. We definitely have the motive.
Yeah.
And we
I think
have
it is some kind of
the-
crazy shit, right? Like he spent like 1% of his total earnings on
Oh
rubber
yeah,
bands.
No, he spent a lot of money on rubber
Yeah.
bands. Yeah. This falls under off-season. It's not even off-season content, but this is before 4th of July. We're gonna take a
Yeah.
break. We're just having fun. We're just 2 guys in the studio.
I think it
And,
qualifies
you know.
though as an episode of this season. I mean, and
It does. It does. Yeah.
Because we talk about
I had to curate
conspiracies and
everything
shit.
by seasons because I used to do with the off-season content wasn't
Yeah.
like curated, and then it fucked up the flow. So
You
yeah,
know,
it is.
number
It
you're
is
on.
it is. You know.
Well,
it
the best
is
part about this season
part of
is it's
season
just
4.
this season 4 though is just fucking conspiracies and crazy shit. So
Yeah. So
we'll
this
probably
fits
end
under
up getting
crazy
into that.
shit. Yeah. After season 3, we got to get more into the fucking. I should write a letter to Michael Swain. Go like, you motherfucker, you ruined my podcast season, and then he'll read it and he's like, what? Who the fuck
yeah,
are
it
these
cost
guys?
Pablo Escobar $2,500 a month in rubber bands.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know how cheap rubber bands are?
Yeah, they're very cheap. So
Yeah, rubber bands
for him
you get
to
for 20
fucking, that's
pretty sure
that's an
$2,500
insane amount of rubber bands, dude.
I think I could probably get a dump truck full, especially in the 80s. You
Yeah.
could probably get a dump truck of rubber bands delivered to
Yeah.
your house for
Oh, yeah.
$2,800.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
He was killed by the CIA.
He sure as fuck was.
Pretty sure he was set up by the CIA.
Yeah. May possibly.
We talked about this before.
Put in power by the CIA. 'Cause the
I have no
DEA and
doubts
the
in that.
CIA and all those people
Yeah, I have no
worked
doubts
really
about
hard
that.
to make sure they got to him. He
Yeah.
evaded them as best he can.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably, was allowed to operate for a fucking reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same
But-
thing with El Chapo.
All the designs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You gotta keep an eye on those crab people.
Right. Since day one, I've always said free El Chapo
Yeah.
because there's a lot of things that go on in this war, quote unquote, on drugs. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah, what did you not know
understand
about him?
this,
Now,
yeah.
we talked about this on my podcast at one point. I think it was episode 156, which is no longer available on YouTube for various reasons. But if you subscribe to the audio feed of 1 Gram Army, go back and check that out.
Right.
But we talked about that where it's like, of course they went after Chapo, right? But they had to know who he was before they went after him.
Yeah.
You don't think they know who the next guy is?
Yeah.
And they're not just going to let him
Yeah, it's a
flood
never-ending
this
process.
country with drugs
It's a never-ending
so
process,
they can get more
dude.
funding to go after
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, it's a never-ending process, and we are both in agreement in this. That's just how it is. But we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. But we also have the First Amendment, so we can speak on it.
Oh, yeah.
We get this.
That's what we do.
Free El Chapo, man. Like, we get what you guys are doing. You went over after El Chapo. You got
Yep.
him. You tried him. You sent him to prison. And then what happened to all that money? It went back into the system so you can all do it again.
Yeah, well, you got to fund the next guy.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
See, we're well into this.
Oh, yeah.
And these aren't even hardly conspiracies.
No. Yeah, right.
This is hardly a conspiracy.
Yeah,
this
no.
is practically
This
like
is-
something the government's like, yeah, well, this is what we do.
Yeah.
We just take
Yeah.
this money.
That's the arrogance of the government.
And we
They're
just
like, yeah,
circulate it back through.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
look, you guys all get drugs, and we get to take some poor people to jail forever.
Yeah.
And then every 10 years, we take one billionaire drug dealer off the street.
Yeah. Just for headlines. A lot of people were like, what happens to all that money you seized from El Chapo? And then there was never an answer.
No.
We know what the answer is.
Of course.
We know what the answer is.
Went in their pockets.
And you know what? Do you, but free El Chapo.
Fill that bag up.
Exactly.
Bitch, come out and order that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was exclusive audio from the raid on El Chapo when they got
that's
him.
exactly
That was
what he
it.
said.
That was it.
That-
Fill that bag. Bitch, come out and order that shit. Fill that bag up.
And that was
it.
exclusive audio from the trial of El Chapo.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yep. It's all the same fucking deal.
But yeah.
Quite silly.
You know. Fuck it.
Yep.
Today I have wrote down some things.
Stupid the fucking game.
Digging in the crates on the soundboard.
Oh yeah,
today.
yeah. We're wearing this soundboard out. I had wrote down sleep study, the political debate. The Democrats had a political debate this week. They had two of them because there's so many. Candidates?
Goddamn candidates.
Yeah. Let me see. There was there were some posts on Facebook this week or on social media in general that guys don't read paragraphs when chicks get mad and they text these big ass Titan graphs, like I call them.
I think that probably applies for all people, though.
Yeah.
In our early days, you've always been a dude. There's always been a point in your life where you were like, oh, that text was way too long.
Yeah. No, I've
read
done it. I've done it. I do it here, dabble here and there.
Why can't
but
I hear
I'm
the
also,
keyboard? Go,
I know,
sorry.
that's weird.
I'll sort it while you're doing that.
I also have been the guy that's been up front, like, listen, you can send me all the paragraphs you want. I'm not reading any of them. Just tighten it up and then figure it out. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. If you have a problem, if I fucked up, I apologize, but I'm not going to go back and forth with you. After a while, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. I'm like, you. Yep. Got. Yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be pretty fucking good. See, now
That's
I wish
awesome,
there was a video
yeah.
for your podcast because I'm going to get really good at that. Where's that chicken? Where's that rooster?
There it is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another thing. These. And I'll tell and
I love that shit. Yeah. And see that
I don't even know what just happened.
Yeah, that and the last thing I talked about was like YouTube couples. I don't know. We might hit on that. We might not. But
Actually,
first
that's
of
what I
all-
was gonna say. I'm sorry. You've worked
Okay.
for the fucking government for too long, because you definitely tell us what we're gonna talk about.
beforehand.
Talk about it and then
Right.
tell us what we talked about. It.
Yeah.
I like that. Though that structure has value.
It does.
You know
it
what I
really
mean?
does.
Yeah, it does definitely.
It does.
But I
It kind of keeps us on track at times.
It definitely does.
Hell yeah.
No. No. Look, we go off the rails on your podcast
Right.
and shit gets wild, but it's
Yeah.
usually like under the dome.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
that's
getting
true.
better on 1 Gram Army about being like, well, that's what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
I had like a pile of notes and I was throwing them at the fucking window. You know what I mean? I had YouTube videos pulled up and shit. I'm like,
Right,
fucking, I'm on
right.
the soundboard like, this one's going to work.
Back to you, Dolphy.
It
Right,
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
Yeah. Hey, and while you played that, get the Time's Up Dolphin shirt on Shirt Caviar.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, please don't. And then actually check out Shirt Caviar. I loaded all the prices. I'm adding
the Lizard
designs.
People shirt
the
is
Lizard
out.
People. Oh my god, the Lizard People
Fuck.
shirt. Listen,
Look, the Lizard-
season 4 was the start of a great thing because we have done shirts before, but the Lizard People shirt
First collaboration.
has the Pod Caviar logo on one sleeve, the 1 Gram Army on the other. The Shirt Caviar is on the inside. That logo is in there. $22 for a high class, perfectly designed and manufactured shirt. $22. I mean, come on.
It's easily one of my favorite designs of yours, because it's not how I like, because it wasn't in any way how I saw it. The Time's Up Dolphin shirt, I texted you the idea and it came back and I was like, well, yeah, if I'd had time to sit down, that's it right there. That was exactly what was in my head.
Oh yeah,
was what you made. The lizard person shirt, when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's not even at all what I thought. And for a second I was like, well, I don't like that he looks like all reluctant and shit, but like, intentional or not, what I got out of it was that like he is reluctant.
He is,
because he's part of some superior race. Exactly. Why does he have to go to fucking work on Wall Street in a suit
and you gotta
with
think,
a briefcase? And he has to like
these
live
guys
in
were drafted for that. They came from a different galaxy. And they come here and it's like, well, here's what you gotta do.
Live in a super sophisticated base inside a moon.
Right.
It'd be like if someone was like, hey man, we're gonna shrink you down and you're gonna be a worker ant for the rest of your life.
Right. And you're like, what?
Why?
And they're like, no, this is for the bigger picture. And then you signed up for this, so here's what you have to do. And it's like, fuck.
Right. Why did I? What?
Why? What?
Yeah.
What?
I would fucking like some kind of intergalactic janitor.
Yeah.
No, that shit is wild. And I love that shirt.
I'm glad you said intergalactic janitor, because I don't know whether you've ever played this game. Just to touch on Game Caviar for a minute. There was a game called Space Quest where you played as a janitor, an intergalactic janitor named Roger Wilco.
Nope.
And it was one of the greatest games that I've ever played before. It's a series of games.
I've never played any of those. It's Star Quest?
No, Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I never played any of those.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm not Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest was a great movie that somehow got absorbed into the Star Trek universe. I'm talking about Space Quest.
Yeah.
This was all on the old VGA computer, DOS.
I never played that.
Big games,
But you're a janitor, huh?
Yeah.
It's like Oregon Trail in space as a janitor.
Yes, exactly.
Bro, you know what was really cool to touch on Game Caviar a bit, if you don't mind? Mm-hmm. And I need to look. I've never looked up to see if it still exists. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you this. Excuse me. In the late 90s, there was a computer game. It was Chuck Yeager's Flight Simulator.
Oh, shit. What?
And I'm here to tell you right now, it was like 3D, but it was like polygons and shit. But it was the first real proper like 3D airspace game I'd played, where it wasn't just like kind of like it loads as it's like linear and it's like the ships
the draw
load as they
distance
come
was like,
at you.
Yeah.
And the distance wasn't that great. This was like you flew like actual combat missions from, because Chuck Yeager was an ace in 3 wars, World War II, Vietnam.
Yeah. He put in work for real. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find this. Yeager,
I love all this shit, man.
Simulator. But yeah, he and Korea. He was an ace in World War II, Korea, and 1987, dude. That's when this game came out.
And he got his whole picture up there and everything.
And I'm trying to tell you, though, dude, this game was the shit.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait a second. I can download the... Oh, fuck. This is probably a bogus-ass website, though.
No, if you have the emulator... The thing about emulators was, if you have the cartridge, like say you have the cartridge of Chuck Yeager's Flight Simulator,
do you think
were
it's
legally
safe to
allowed...
download this?
Yeah, probably. You were legally allowed to download the emulator or the ROM. They had ROMs. ROMs worked with the emulators. The emulators was like the stove. The ROMs were like the hot dogs that you cook them on or whatever. But
see, you can kind of see though, and it's like, see how that? I mean, that looks
that's
by
banging.
today's standards.
Back in the day, I'd be like, oh shit, this is crazy.
See, and actually, the resolution on this is weird too, because the color, like the ground is green, the sky was blue. But it's nuts too though, because they were like, it was the first game I ever played where there were like all these different features. Yeah. Like if you wanted to too, they had a thing where you could like set up your own scenario where it was like it was like a Mad Lib. It was like there I was in my. And then you had a drop-down menu where you could choose like a P-51D, an F4, or a P-51D, a Mustang, or a P-51 and F4. What was the jet from Korea? The Sabre.
The Sabre, right. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah, but anyway, and I would have known it if I hadn't had 17 beers. Jet fighter, Korea. But anyway, that was the other... no, it's not that one. Sabre. F-86.
F-86,
God
there
damn.
it is, yeah.
We should both be quite ashamed of
right,
ourselves.
I know, right? We could just blame it on the alcohol.
But anyway, so
yeah.
so it would be like I was in my, and you could pick those jets when I was either like when I was jumped by or I came upon, and then it was a number, and you could change that to like a bunch of different things.
Shit.
It could be like there I was in my F4 when I came up on a fleet of B-59s.
Oh shit!
Or
Yeah.
B-29s.
Right.
You know, and then you were in a jet fighter.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like a murder fest.
Right.
You know, like, but it was crazy too, because like the weapons were specific to the aircraft, to the time. You could eject, and like if you ejected out of a plane from before there were ejector seats, the ejection was different.
Yeah.
If you went down too fast, like tilted your nose down too fast, you would red out. If you pulled back too fast, you would black out.
Yeah.
And it depended like on how sensitive that was like between the P-51 and all the way up to the F4. No, it was a very complicated game. And I'm sorry.
See, it's crazy how those games back then would do that, but then if I play Ace Combat 7 now, they don't have that.
The flight simulators now are terrible, dude.
They are.
With what they have at their disposal.
Yeah.
It's like, why does shit on the ground still look like a 2D image and shit? And it's like,
I will give Ace Combat, the makers of Ace Combat, their credit, because they are pretty much like, this is the NBA Jam of aircraft and air-to-air combat, to where it's
but
like
they just keep copying and pasting and slightly improving.
No, it is. It is. The same storyline from Ace Combat 1 is the same storyline from Ace Combat 7. It's like these two countries had a conflict, and then you fight for one side, and then that's it.
You know, I mean, if you are on Grand Theft Auto 5, the only problem is there's only like one kind of fighter aircraft, and that's about
true,
it.
yeah.
Like that's the only issue.
That's it.
That is a better flight simulator than
Unless you're on PC when they do all the mods, but then people on consoles like us, it's like, I don't know.
But no, this Chuck Yeager flight simulator had fucking everything, and I am gonna see if I can download. I hate these fucking download websites. Though. Like I don't know which one of these.
If you get the emulated, the
to
old
download,
ones,
like I don't feel like if I click this download button, that's not really the download game.
You probably get a pop up, but it's pretty legit. Because I used to be really deep into
this. You fuck with
this.
My Abandonware at all?
I've never been on that site. No.
Yeah. See, and look at all these goddamn. This is like fucking.
See, I got out of this when I bought an Xbox One. Remember the old Xbox One, heavy as shit. See, I bought one of those, and it was modded, and it had all the emulators and ROMs on it, allegedly.
Bro, this is still trying to make me run it in DOS.
What? No shit. It's not an emulator. They want you to run. What?
All right, fuck it. It's my work computer.
Let's see what happens. And it's a zip file. Oh shit! I was scared.
Quite a bit of stuff in there. Maps, though. This looks.
I mean, it looks legit. Yeah. I mean,
why didn't it unzip it? Though?
I would fucking. Windows has that shit where you can look in the zip file without unzipping it.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that.
I mean, that's cool. Yeah, I would scan that shit for viruses and all that shit. But the
Sorry,
ROMs
really
and emulators
derailed
site.
Your podcast
No, that's fine. The ROMs and emulators site back in the day, they were always legit. You might get pop-ups and pop-unders, back in the day, but they were legit. And like I was saying earlier, if you could prove that you had the cartridge, then you were legally allowed to download the ROM. But most of the people disregarded that shit. So. And that Xbox that I have, I can't hook it up to a TV now. I got to get an adapter, but it had the ROMs and the emulators for so many fucking games, and that was it.
Goddamn thing, this application here.
Yeah, let's see. No, you got to extract it still. Yeah, and then click extract down at the bottom. Oh yeah, put it on your desktop. Yeah. Oh shit! No. Now it's gonna put all the files. on your desktop.
I just make a new folder.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Wow, this is some good podcasting. I'm sorry, dude.
This is fucking
but it's
nostalgia like a motherfucker. Yeah, it is, man. This is you listen to the pod Caviar, but we're bleeding in the game Caviar.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's great.
What's up, Breeze? Hey, you want to say hi?
No, Bree, say hi.
Say hello.
There we go.
Nobody heard that. I didn't even hear that.
See, there it is. Windows
screen
protect
front-
your
right,
PC.
app for
That's that
running.
bullshit.
Don't run.
Oh my god.
Why is don't run the only option?
It used to be if you hold down shift or something, you could do the run anyway. There you go.
Ooh, I don't like that unknown publisher, but
shit. This app can't run in final version.
Okay.
It's probably too old. Yeah.
Well, that's weird. Then why the fuck would they offer the goddamn? Well, that was a big waste of time, and we did it on your podcast. You may have to edit this podcast.
No, it's fine. Fuck it. They need to hear this shit. No. Yeah, it's too advanced now.
What kind of fucking shit
That's
is that?
so weird, dude. So they won't let you run it. They say, oh, okay. See if you get the emulator. I don't know. You know.
We'll figure this
But yeah, while you're doing that, let me talk about the sleep study. I went to the VA. If anybody has listened to this podcast, I have my beefs with the VA here and there. I went to the VA and I told the doctor that I have this, that, and the third. I gave him my my symptoms, and he was like, I'm going to order you a sleep study. When he said that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm having trouble sleeping, so the sleep study might help. I've had a lot of people tell me that, oh, you snore so loud or you stop breathing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I get the sleep study. I thought the sleep study was me going to, oh, my God, is that working?
Hold on. Yeah, finish your story.
I thought the sleep study was me going to a place and they would put me to sleep and put all these sensors and everything on me and then figure out what was going on. No, the way the VA does it, and it's cool or whatever. This is one of the few times I'm not dissing the VA, but I went there and I told them I was having sleeping problems. I was having trouble sleeping, and they sent me a box with a lot of sensors, and that was the sleep study that I would do at home. The thing is, I would have to hook all this shit up to myself, and then I would have to put this box on my fucking chest and strap it around me and put this fucking tube up my nose like I was in ICU, and I had to put this thing on my finger that read my pulse all night. That's cool, but I had to lay a certain way and make sure that these sensors were not sending an error to the box so that the box can record all this shit for 3 nights. When I tell you I had to wake up every 15 to 20 minutes just to make sure the box was recording shit,
Wow.
I thought to myself, I was like, look, this is making my sleep worse. Just send me to a place. The at-home shit on paper, it sounds great. That's amazing. But at the same time, even if they told me, even if I didn't have sleep problems or I didn't have sleep apnea, I do now because of that box and how I had to wake up every 20 minutes.
That was my first thought. I was like,
Right.
So you have to interrupt your sleep.
That's exactly what I've had to do for the past
sleep.
3 days, bro.
That shit is wild.
That shit is crazy. And I'm like, dude, are y'all seriously? So I got to send this box back to the company, and they're going to look at all this data. They're going to see that I'm waking up and I moved all this time. And they're going to be like, well, yeah, obviously you have sleep apnea. And I'm like, no, I don't. This box gave me that shit.
The VA is stupid. The
VA is stupid. The VA is stupid.
Don't care about vets.
Don't care about vets. Don't care about vets.
Put this in your dick and call me tomorrow. Shit on this thing and put a stick and rub it on a card and put it in the mail.
Yeah.
Don't
that's
forget to shit on this stick. That's it.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. So I gotta send this whole fucking kit back and then see what they say. If they tell me that I have sleep apnea or whatever the fuck, which they're probably gonna do, then I have to wear a even bigger machine. And I'm like, dude, at that point, I'm like, just let me die in my sleep. I don't give a shit. You know, the whole life is
Stop being a bitch and come on.
Yeah, the whole life is mapped out before you get out the fucking Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I had to transform. I said it jokingly. I was like, let me go to bed and transform into fucking RoboCop so I can get some sleep so these motherfuckers can tell me what's wrong with me. Yeah. It's weird.
Nothing helps your sleep, too, though, like being strapped into a machine and having to monitor the progress of the operation of the machine.
I had a box right here in front of me. Remember Star Trek, the motion picture, where they had those uniforms and they had those boxes at the bottom?
Yep.
Now, see, take that and then put it right here in the center of your chest. That's what I did.
It's kind of like an X-Wing fighter.
Right. Yeah. With the fucking tube in my nose and then something on my fucking finger.
What the fuck?
It's so weird.
Usually they do the sleep study like it's like monitored.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, go home and stick this shit in your ear.
Yeah. That shit was so weird, but okay. You know, whatever.
These men are consummate snowball artists.
That's the fucking VA
That's
for
the
you,
VA
buddy.
for you, yeah. I don't know. Did you try the Chuck Yeager shit? I saw you playing it.
No, it wasn't it.
It wasn't
and
it.
that was actually some sort of like more recent, more terrible version of it.
That's
like,
weird.
That was sucked.
That's weird that somebody would care that much about that game.
And they emulated it poorly.
Yeah.
It was bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. Please edit that out.
No. It's cool.
Edit it out.
It's cool.
Oh, sorry. Edit it out. Cut that out of your podcast. This is even better than me talking about that game to people who don't deserve that shit.
Yeah, no. It's great for all the caviars to cross promote. You know.
I don't know why that's just starting to happen.
Dun.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm fucking
Yeah,
this up.
we
Let me
had-
just put my hands in my pockets.
We had game. You know, this is Pod Caviar. This is some crazy shit. Before the 4th of July, we're just two guys in the studio having fun. We talked about the Chuck Yeager shit. This is Game Caviar.
You're
We're talking about
29
Short
minutes
Caviar. Are we 29 minutes in for
Yeah,
real?
I gotta pee.
Okay, yeah.
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, let me go pee
see.
real quick. And then,
Shit. Fuck. Hold on.
You want the soundboard? Are you okay? Yeah,
no,
I can't
I'm
turn it
good. Let me
around.
see. Let me see.
Oh, you don't want
Let's
the
see.
soundboard?
No. The soundboard is fine.
I don't know, something about being gay.
I'm gonna talk about guys don't read paragraphs. That was a big thing on social media. I think I stretched that out until you come back. Yeah,
Take it away.
Pretty much it was memes that going around on social media. Listen, Graham and I talked about social media. We talked about it on his last podcast episode, 1 Gram Army, and we talk about it so much, even on Twitter or Facebook or on Instagram. There are many memes that go around and say the guys don't read paragraphs where girls and guys are arguing, and then girls will send like long ass paragraphs. I can relate to this. I'm not going to get into the details, but at the same time, I will say that I have told the girl straight up, I'm not reading that paragraph. It's not something, I don't know, from a guy's standpoint, it's like with me, girls need to understand. And not every girl, so most girls, a lot of girls understand this. So I'm not attacking blindly every girl, but guys are very simple creatures. We are, okay? When we start to get into it and we start texting back and forth, and then you as a girl think that it's cool to send us a whole long ass paragraph, a text, we're not going to read that shit. The first thing that guys do when they see long ass paragraphs is we roll our eyes, we take a deep breath, we say, shit. Or whatever, some variants of that. I'm not going to go through all the examples, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I know guys and girls are different. We don't see eye to eye, but there is a middle ground that we both need to get into. I know I'm guilty of not getting into it. I know many girls are not guilty of getting into it that I've dealt with, but guys think different than girls. Girls think different than guys. If there's a safe or a neutral zone, you know, there needs to be a way for us to talk, because we don't deal good with the long ass paragraphs. We're not gonna read all that shit, bruh.
Although
We're
women
not.
get those too, and I apologize for busting.
I know, yeah,
in this
no,
bitch.
no. I will admit that I have done that before.
Okay,
and it goes both ways. It doesn't help anything. But just from a guy's perspective, when we get them, we're like, fuck.
But if you run off a banger, you feel like fucking Ric Flair. You
Oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. You know, no. When you fucking drop a long ass paragraph and you fucking drop some knowledge, nah.
See,
Fuck
and I
yeah.
know that you were in here recording and I was outside.
Yeah.
Speaking of men and women thinking differently, what I did was I crept in there and I asked Bree, I was like, come stand by the door.
Yeah,
And-
please.
And I'm going to, we were going to both be on the other side of the door, and I was going to be like, this is the last fucking time I'm going to tell you. And then I wanted her to scream, right? And then I was going to come in and be like, yeah, I had to handle some business. She wouldn't do it. She would do it because men and women think differently.
Yeah, we do.
But that shit is
We do.
hysterical.
It is. No, it is.
It would have been so funny. I was even going to kick the door. You know what I mean? Like, it was
That should have worked perfectly.
Should have been so
Bree,
funny.
you should have did it, Bree.
Yeah. That's right,
Bree.
Bree. Yeah. And now I'm really going to punch. No, never mind.
Now drywall has to be punished for this.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I mean, come on, dude. I don't know.
Quit playing.
Never,
It seems
R.
like
Kelly.
guys. It
You
seems
quit
like
playing with children. Quit playing with children.
quit playing with children. Quit playing with children.
Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Never.
Never. No.
Nope.
No. But I know that with my
This has
experience,
been
girls love to send those big ass paragraphs.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, back in the day, and this goes back into the whole nice guy shit, the whole incel shit. Back in the day, I used to respond to that shit, but it's like, for now, I'm like, look, I'm not reading all that shit. I don't give a fuck what you saying. I'm gonna say what I have to say. We can go back and forth, but shorten the messages.
You know, when
I'm all for going back and forth. I don't give a fuck about that, going back and forth. But when you send me this big ass wall of text, I'm like, no, that's too much shit.
You know what was weird for me was that between being married and then being single again, texting became a thing in America.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like
that is true.
Like literally for real. When I got married, texting didn't exist.
Right.
When I got not married anymore, texting had been around for a couple years.
That's true.
And bro, it was like Louis C.K. says, it's like you stepped out of a time machine, except it was a real shitty time machine where you like sat in a cardboard box and ate sandwiches for 5-6 years, and then walked out of it and thought you time traveled.
Yeah, and that's how
texting
it was.
is a mess. And
it was.
Yeah, texting is a mess.
I like texting, and I said this recently. I'm like, I like texting because you can go back and reread shit. You can take screenshots and kind of use it. Because nowadays, but see, nowadays.
I don't like to go on record, bro.
I know. But see, with me, nowadays, it's like, look, I have to build this case. Even if I'm wrong, even if you're wrong, you know, the thing that, how do you get ahead of that is be like, look, I know I fucked up. And I apologize for that, but more than likely, you're not going to be the only one that fucks up. So if you're a guy listening to this podcast and you ever been in this situation, screenshot it, admit, take the L.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take the lowercase L, but if you have those screenshots, you can deliver the uppercase L. That's what I'm saying.
For I would like to counter that, just briefly.
Yeah.
In that, like the underlying message of consolidating this data is that at some point it will have value to the person to whom you present it.
That's true.
But dude, this goes all the way back to the beginning of the 1 Gram Army podcast. People don't give a shit about that.
That's true.
And you know what kind of people really don't give a fuck about data? Wormins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you can like really exhaust yourself, like keeping screenshots and like being like tit for tat. And be like, look, here's this dumbass thing you did. You're mad at me for not taking out the groceries. And you told this guy that you were like exploring your options.
Yeah.
To them, those two things are related.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't take out the garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, see, those two things don't really relate to one another, but to them, like realistically, the data means nothing.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And
that's
so,
true.
In some respects, there's almost no reason in fucking
No.
keeping
Yeah,
what the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah, and at the same time, I know I have done a lot of crazy shit before, and then some screenshots when I go back and listen to them.
You.
Yeah, when I go back, there's countless amounts of girls that have said that to me.
Oh yeah.
But then I've gone back and said that shit. What I have done is grown enough to be like, you know what, you're right. I fucked up. Honestly, let me apologize honestly, but at the same time, here's my case right here.
I just don't
it doesn't always equalize. It doesn't equalize all the time.
See,
it doesn't. It's a
phone,
crapshoot. It is.
When I open my phone and I see a long text, I'm like,
what? This better be about pizza.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm hammering the soundboard. But you're at 37 minutes.
Okay, yeah. So let me wrap this up.
I think we've done enough damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. Hey, if you go on Shirt Caviar. If you go on Shirt Caviar right now, you can get the Abide shirt. It is a nice summertime tank top. You can wear it to the beach. It is amazing. It is perfectly designed and a great homage to The Big Lebowski.
That was
great
what my
movie.
sister had on her MySpace page. Remember where it was like religion and you could fill it in?
Yeah.
Hers said the dude abides.
Oh,
and
shit. That's
like,
crazy.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay, but to wrap this all up, you know what?
I have no idea what
long-ass text paragraphs, they can work for you.
That's my name.
Yeah, they can work in your favor. They can. You can take screenshots. You cannot. I don't read long-ass paragraphs. I'm upfront, and I tell the girls that I'm like, you know, if I'm dealing with a main and we get into a problem and she sends me a long paragraph, I'm like, I'm not reading that shit. You need to, you know, cut it down and then let me know exactly what you want, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really good talking back and forth. I have my, you know, issues and I apologize, but whatever. You know what? Fuck it. We're having fun in a ministry of silly talks. Grandma's in the building. I'm Tony. We got the keyboard. We got the soundboard. We got shirt caviar. We talked about game caviar.
We
This is
fucking
pod
covered a bunch of
caviar.
shit,
Yeah. Yeah. Subscribe to the One Gram Army. Subscribe to pod caviar. We're coming for you.
Of course. And this is one that I think is good. Like, in my mind, I'm like, this is the most jumbled shit we've ever done.
Yeah.
But I've thought that before. And there's no way this is the most jumbled shit we've ever done.
No, hell no, bro.
Infinitely
my
more
God,
sober now
dude.
than I have been.
Even between season 1 and season 2, those were some because we used to listen. We drink before these shows, but back then we used to get fucked up to the point of where we just hit record, and it was like sometimes I even forgot what the fuck I was doing. Like, what are we doing? I'm doing a podcast. Oh, it's my podcast.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm not gonna say it was me, but at some point in a lot of those podcasts, sometimes one of us would like take acid or mushrooms or something.
Yeah.
And then like as the podcast started, be like, all right, well, reality's fracturing for me now.
Yeah.
How about record my opinions and put them on the internet?
Right. Yeah. Those were the episodes where it was like, okay, well, we said enough now. We're gonna wrap this up because shit is falling apart.
Yeah.
But
do you want to close your episode with the promo since played?
Oh yeah. Listen, Graham
wrap
did
it up quick.
Graham did a great promo. It is amazing, and there's a lot of things that we've said before, but we're gonna drive it home now. Yeah. Subscribe to One Gram Army. Subscribe to Pop Caviar. Patronize Shirt Caviar and subscribe to Game Caviar.
Coming to see you.
That's Graham. I'm Tony. We're in the Ministry of Silly Talks. This was a great episode, and now it's time for us to go. We'll see you later. We're out. Welcome to Pod Caviar. I'm your host, Tony, in the Ministry of Silly Talks.
Generals, welcome to the One Gram Army podcast.
Just click subscribe, for God's sake. Click subscribe.
We're trying to help you.
Yeah. There's no more excuses. No more time left. It's all over.
And look, I'm not saying we don't want to come on.
Right. Hey, listen. This is climate change in physical form. Just click subscribe, for God's sake. If you already subscribed, we're just fucking with you. If you haven't subscribed, we're not fucking with you at all.
That's why it feels so good, because we're so genuinely fucking serious.
Right.
We have a van.
Yeah.
We bought a van.
Yeah.
We're coming to see you.
Yeah.
They came to my house.
Just, for God's sake, subscribe before they come to you.